is doubt? Doubt is fear. Doubt is scarcity. Doubt is noisy. Doubt is that thing that pushes resistance harder and harder and harder and wants to keep you hostage to everything that you want that's on the other side. The opposite of doubt is certainty. I'm not talking about, oh yeah, I'm really certain. I'm talking about that bulletproof sure-footedness. The market conditions are not what's holding you back because people are still getting hired. They may not have the perfect keywords, the ideal pedigree, the credentials, the metrics. That is not the game changer. It's their certainty.
The idea of job security is outdated as a landline. If you haven't been in a search for a while, it's probable you will at some point, by choice or not. Most executives admit to staying way too long or sense what's coming and justify staying anyway. There's another reason. The faulty belief that navigating to what's next will inevitably be worse and has to suck. Screw that. Loren Greiff has spent a lifetime in corporate and executive search, calling bullshit on stale career advice that most still use. This is Career Blast in a Half, the career podcast for executives ready to cut past outdated career advice to fuel your outcomes now. So let's go.
I'm so glad that you're here. I cannot tell you that today's episode it's going deep, right? And I have a lot of personal experience around our topic today, which is doubt is death. And I am also here to share my experience with the 3 steps to get you to certainty, which is the opposite of doubt, right? Doubt. Let's just talk about that for a minute. What is doubt? Doubt is fear. Doubt is scarcity. Doubt is noisy. Doubt is that thing that pushes resistance harder and harder and harder and wants to keep you hostage to everything that you want that's on the other side. The opposite of doubt is certainty. And that is what this episode is all about. And I can tell you, certainty can happen a lot faster than you think. And that's why I'm here to share these tips with you. And they're not just tips. Tips that sound like they're something superficial. These are life-changing opportunities. These are literally not just from a strategic and tactical and smart way to do that. It's like a spiritual axiom, which means that this is a spiritual truth. And I can literally put my hand to my heart and tell you without a single doubt that these will not lead you wrong. And anyone who's ever done what I'm about to share with you can attest to that, myself included. So before we go any deeper into the doubt place, right, that fear and that uncertainty and that scarcity, what I also want to share with you is what is certainty? What does it feel like? What does it look like? And I'm not talking about, oh yeah, I'm really certain. I'm talking about that bulletproof sure-footedness. And that doesn't mean you're cocky. It doesn't mean that you are arrogant. Oh yeah, I'm the bomb.com. I mean, you're not saying that. It's an inner knowing. It's the knowing that no matter what is going on in your job search, in your career, in your relationships, which is really not the central focus of this today, because I really do want to bring it to the job search. What I want to share with you is that I've seen it myself. I've seen it millions of times. The market conditions are not what's holding you back because people are still getting hired. And they may not have the perfect keywords, the ideal pedigree, the credentials, the metrics. That is not the game changer. It's their certainty. And we're going to bring it here to you right now. So I want you to get yourself in a place, whether you're taking notes or whether you could do this quietly. And please, if you need more certainty, listen to this all over again, because nothing wrong with a little rinsing and repeating. But the first thing you need to know about how to accelerate certainty and also to let it penetrate is that you absolutely must and this is a big one. I rarely say you have to, but what I need you to know is that in order for certainty to happen, it has to have a flywheel. And that flywheel is forward motion, because nothing will happen if you're still treading and going back through and back through and back through. So in order for forward motion to happen, rather than hobbling, rather than limping through situation after situation after situation, you must change your methodology to be a swordfish and not a whale, right? Swordfish, they're using their sword, right? They're moving through things. They're cutting through the bullshit. They're not listening to the noise outside. They're focusing on what they are doing. They're not listening to, what the negativities are, because that will just reinforce the scarcity, and there's plenty of that. They are literally in their lane and they're moving forward, cutting through all the crap and focusing on the forward actions that need to be there. So that momentum, that flywheel that we're talking about, that's the velocity that helps all of that alignment flow into place. This is very important. I'm going to repeat that. Momentum drives velocity, that drives alignment, that drives those outcomes. There is no other workaround to that. If you want what you want and you're sincere about that, start with momentum and build that practice every single day. I am blowing the lid off of our best kept secret, our 30-day blast program. Yeah, you heard it. 30 days. We have seen so much success for this program that past clients have landed in that 30 days and increased their compensation 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, over 100%. Now, not everybody lands and earns that much in 30 days, but my point is it prepares you. And in 30 days, if you're not out of there with a changed mindset and changed clear and simple ways to be able to navigate the market this year, then we'll gladly refund your misery and you can go back to applying now. Check out the link below for the next 30-day blast, and we would love to have you there because we live for your success, and that's what's really important. See you then. That's the first one. Swordfish, not whale, right? Build that momentum flywheel. The next thing that I really want to get into is kind of a little bit of a augmentation off of this whole idea that success leaves clues. But now I want you not just to recognize that success leaves clues. That's not a big aha. Now I want you to collect those clues, right? And how are you going to do that? Go find the people that have done what you want to do next. And that insurance of understanding what they've done and how they did it and why they did it and when they did it is going to give you so many insights that you can literally play Simon Says with. Now, of course, you want to find people that are at that excellent level of what it is that you're looking for. You want to ask them specific questions. So use your time effectively. Ask them questions like, if you started on this pivot or in this job search or in this role today, what would you have done differently? What is the most favorite part of the role that you have now that surprised you? Find things that are going to give you insights so that you are not reliant on a job description to better understand what the real deal is. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, just does the checks on that job description. They absolutely are going for greater impact. They are doing things outside of just, the cut and paste. They're not box checkers, right? So go and find those people, because that will also help you to stay away from the stagnation. Every single one of those conversations is going to change everything about your certainty. You'll know from one conversation to a next better questions to ask. You can even do an A/B testing. Oh, I heard this here. What do you agree with? And see which one of these approaches is the one that is winning for you and how you are going to approach your next conversations and your next steps. So I'm just going to go back, make like a swordfish, not a whale. And then what I want you to do is start collecting the clues from the conversations. Ideally, 5 people a day. 5 people a day. You want to get certain? Do the footwork. The last piece that I want to share with you, the fastest way to get to certainty, the absolute fastest way to get to certainty is to refuse to focus on mediocrity. Do not go into this, especially if you are somebody who is ambitious, thinking that you can just get away with the bare minimum. You are not that person, and let that reflect in how you are approaching your job search. Think of it like an audition. Think of it as you inevitably have that role. Are you going to cut corners when you're in there? Well, then don't cut it in the actual search itself. So I really want to stress here that mastery is the opposite of mediocrity. No one in this marketplace gets hired for mediocrity. Mediocrity, that will, without a single doubt, drag your search. And it will challenge your ability to understand where your talents, skills, impact, growth, compensation is. Everything is attached to each and every one of these areas. So I'm going to go back one more time because that's how important this is. The marketplace, by the way, is always going to align within the action and the consistency of that action, both on a physical, realistic plane and also from a spiritual plane. And I've seen this side by side. I've seen candidate A kind of like go through the motions, and I've seen candidate B, same credentials, same job title, all of that almost mirrored perfectly. And the one who lands the job is the one with certainty. So here's your recap. Number 1, make like a swordfish, not a whale, right? Literally commit to yourself to make this a daily practice. Don't stall yourself out when you want to have it sooner rather than later. Number 2, again, success leaves clues. Now go and collect them. Collect them with people who have done that, who you admire, and who are going to help you uncover the areas that are going to enable that momentum, that spiritual flywheel, that momentum to continue. And the last thing, never, ever, ever settle for mediocrity. If you are settling for mediocrity, it will reflect back to you either in your interviews, your compensation, and the entire process, right? You will just be settling, and chances are a couple years from now, you'll be doing one of those V8 smashes up against your head that says, I wish I had given it my all. Now's your time, 100%. If you need to hear this again, just go back. If you need to get in touch with me, find me on LinkedIn. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with somebody else who may be struggling with any of the things that we talked about, how to get to certainty and how to literally overcome that doubt. And then lastly, if you still really liked it, please write an Apple Podcast review. We appreciate that. Our podcast is growing, and it is because of you, and we still need you. So that being said, have a beautiful, wonderful, and amazing day, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for joining today. We appreciate your listening ears. Big time. We ask this: use these tools, not tomorrow, right now, and share them by spreading the love, leaving us a rating and subscribe so you don't miss the next career blast in a half. Most of all, thank you for you.